welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for unboxing and review. This is the Majohn. You can see here, design made in China, and it says writing instruments there. I think let's lift the lid on this box, and you'll see here it has a nice pen here. So let me just remove this box. It's a very small pen box, and to be honest, I'm actually glad of that. This is the Majohn titanium, and this is the TI-136. Now, you could have been fooled that this looks like a Mont Blanc and that it looks like a Martelet, and it really does, except for it doesn't have the snow cap here. It's made of titanium, not platinum, although I think they do a steel version as well, Mont Blanc. But this really is a beautiful effect, and I think you can get a polished and a matte. I got the matte version here. It is a piston filling pen, but just look at the hammered effect going on here. This really is quite a stunning pen. This pen is flying off the shelves, literally. Although there's some Etsy buyers that have them, and I think maybe a few eBay, the majority of it is on AliExpress, and I really... this was the first time I decided to buy something from AliExpress. I want to say the last time, but I have bought 2 more pens since. And they were, again, Majohn pens. The reason being is I ordered this pen with a medium nib, which the seller listed would be a medium nib. There was an extra fine, a fine, and a medium. But then when it arrived, I got a fine nib just on its own without any feed or nib unit. And I got this nib, which effectively is a nib that is a little bit of a food nib. So it's actually a turned up nib. They claim that they should have sent a long blade, and a long blade is a little bit more of an architect grind. And I would say that that wasn't an architect grind at the time. I went back and forth about 30 messages with the seller on AliExpress. They didn't speak English. I didn't speak Chinese. And then at that point, they offered to send me a medium nib, which was a long blade nib, which is an architect grind. But they wanted US dollar-wise of 0.01, so 1 US cent to ship it. And I was just like, I'm not going to give you any more money. This is your mistake, not mine. And in the end, I just decided I was going to keep the pen and I was going to grind the nib. And I ground it into a more of a medium architect nib, which is what you see now. It is a piston filling pen. You've got an ink window there. It really is a clone or a copy of a Mont Blanc Martelet. And honestly, I would like a Mont Blanc Martelet, but the problem is they are not cheap pens, and they are very difficult to come by on the used market. So maybe one day I will pick up a Mont Blanc Martelet, but until then, I'd say that this will tide me over for the time being. It is a piston filling pen. The nib that I had here was a lemon nib. The fine nib was a Majohn nib, and this is what came fitted with the pen. I probably could have swapped it out for a Bock nib. I didn't think I had a spare Bock steel nib or a gold-plated nib, so I just figured I would just grind this nib. It is a piston filling pen. You can post that cap, and it will post deeply and securely, although it grips onto that piston knob, and you can see that I'm turning that piston. So you do have to be a little bit careful when doing so. Also, there is, like Mont Blanc's, there is actually a little bit of play on that piston knob. I'm not sure if that was designed to be like that, or if it's just down to the piston mechanism, but just seem to be copying Mont Blanc in a number of different ways. But this pen is a beautiful pen. I've got it inked up at the moment. I am loving writing with this nib now that I have ground it and tuned it. and made it write a lot better, and it really, really is writing better. I would just be a little bit wary. This wasn't a cheap pen in terms of Chinese pens. This cost me imported. I think it was about £95 or something plus import. So it came out to about £123. I think, or it may have been actually a little bit more. I think it was 137 by the time it actually shipped and that. But it was an easy process. They took the import tax and duty at point of sale. I didn't have to pay anything. If you're in the UK, it came in via Every. Not the greatest courier, I know, but it came within a week. So it arrived within a week from purchasing the pen. So I was quite glad on that front. But this really is quite a nice pen. I really have thought about buying a second one because I love this effect, this hammered effect. But I also don't need another one, and I typically try to avoid buying multiples of the same pen. But likewise, also it was about £137 as well, imported. So I think at that point I probably don't need to spend that £137. I'd like to, but I could also put that £137 towards another pen. So from that perspective, I think I will probably sleep on it for a little bit and probably not buy a second one, even as much as I want to. So I think with that, we'll do a size check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the length of the pen, we're looking about 147 millimeters in length. The length of the cap, we're looking at 72 millimeters in length. And if we look at the length of the body, we are looking at about 128 millimeters in length. So it's not a bad size pen. It's not quite an oversized pen, but you can see it's a fairly good length in my hand. And obviously I can post that cap if I want to, although it's going to be gripping the piston knob. So you do have to be a little bit careful. I think the reason why they did that was because of the hammered effect would be a little bit harder to grip onto. So I think that's probably the reason why. I think we'll do a weight check. Now, this isn't going to be a light pen. It is inked up. It is a piston filling pen. But the weight of the pen, we're looking at just under 43.5 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just under 17 grams in weight. And then the weight of the body inked up, we are looking at just under 26.5 grams. So it's a fairly hefty pen. It's not the heaviest in my collection, but it's still fairly heavy, and it does feel quite girthy as well. It feels for me quite a nice writing pen. So I think with that, we'll do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Noto, and this is the Colt Pens exclusive. This is the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol. We have a Mont Blanc Around the World in 80 Days Special Edition. We have an Noto University of Oxford. We have a Visconti Empire. We have the Majohn Titanium TI-136. We have an Noto Platinum Jubilee in sterling silver. A Noto Platinum Jubilee, and a Noto Coronation in sterling silver. We have a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition Jules Verne. We have a Parker Duofold Centennial Godwin in gold. And we have a Mont Blanc Writer's Edition Jane Austen. So I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So this is the Majohn Titanium, and it's the TI-136. I ordered it with a medium nib, so I'm going to say it's a medium nib. It is a steel nib. but you can see that I have ground it a little bit more so the cross strokes are more architect. The ink in here today is Diamine Earl Grey. Yes, I had to put a grey ink in a grey or silver pen. In terms of line variation, I'm going to say you're probably getting a bit of a medium there. It has a bit of sweet spot, so you're seeing a variation. Let me see if I can try and be more precise. There you go. And then if I do the figure of eight, you can see that line variation there. And then if I do more vertical lines, you're going to see there's no hard starts or skips. So I did tune the nib. I did make it right wetter. I did floss the tines, and I also ground the nib. So it is writing very, very nicely for me. If we do an ink wetness test, you'll see there. Do a horizontal. So it's not a fire hose of a nib, but it's still pretty wet. What do I like? What do I not like about the pen? Well, I like that it looks like a Mont Blanc Martelet. I guess what I don't like is that it's essentially a clone or a copy. The price is a little bit more on the steeper side for a Chinese-made pen. Most Chinese-made pens are anywhere from about £10 euros or dollars to about £50 euros or dollars. This one came in around about £137 for me. So that's quite a lot, and that's in comparison probably closer to maybe a Leonardo Officina Italiana pen with a steel nib, or an Esterbrook SD oversized maybe. So it's not as cheap as you'd like it to be, but it is titanium, and the hammered effect on that is really, really good. So I'm a little bit torn. I think it would be nice if it was a Chinese pen to have it more closer to the £50. You can get the brushed titanium version of this, and that is closer to £50 plus. I think it's 40. It was between £42 and £47, depending on the seller on AliExpress, plus import tax and duty. So you can pick that one up a lot cheaper, but it won't be the hammered version. The hammered version really adds at least double, if not triple, the cost to it. So there you have it. That's my unboxing and review of the Majohn Titanium TI-136 with a medium steel nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.